DeadtoMe is a show with two very complex women. You and Christina are really like an equal double-hander. Was that one of the reasons you wanted to do the show?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the idea of two strong female leads who are not, interchangeable. They are very, very different people. Sometimes I'll get a script and you read the characters and you read the female characters and you could switch any line, you could switch any action, and you would believe that it was the other person. And that is just not the case. Liz Feldman had written something that was so specific and so challenging too. There were so many layers to it. And I thought, wow, it scared me at first because it was such a challenge, this all these complications and layers to the character, and I felt like she was nothing like me. But that was such a beautiful challenge. And then the idea that it was Christina, who I admire, and I think she is so talented.
You made an analogy now to your personal character. Your character cannot keep a secret.
No,
How are
no.
you keeping a secret in real life?
I'm not. I'm very good at keeping a secret. That is one of my great strengths, I believe. So, yeah, we do not have that in common. And Judy is much more spontaneous and I would like to think a little more illogical than I than I am.
I love that about her. You have two other roles, one other role coming up. And in our previous press conference, you mentioned that if you could, you would revisit Avengers Age of Ultron. That character, Capone, and DeadtoMe, all of the characters love people who are difficult to love.
Yes, yes,
so
that's
can
true.
you talk about the connection? What appeals to you about that kind of character? And maybe a little bit about each one of them.
Well, I think for love and connection, but I feel like that's very, very human. I feel like it's something that we can all sort of relate to. Judy does it on a certain level that I think goes beyond most people. But I feel like, that's the same thing that, I think Laura Barton is longing for love, and she wants her husband to come home. She also admires everything that he does, as difficult as it is. I think maybe May Capone doesn't necessarily admire everything her husband does, but has longed for him to come home, and he's home, and he's quite different than she imagined, and it's different than the way that she would have imagined things to be, and it's very difficult to actually take care of him. I think they are all caretakers in some ways. I think that same thing in Green Book. I think that's one thing that I like to help people. I like to take care of people in my real life. I think that's maybe something that I relate to with them, and I hope that I'm good at it. And some of them are good at it, and some of them are not so good at it. I think that even though Judy is a little bit off, according to some people, I think her heart is trying to be in the right place. She's always got a good intention. It's just, unfortunately for Judy, when she's sitting next to somebody, all she wants to do is help that person. So it's almost whatever it takes to get them to feel better, she'll offer up, and she doesn't think enough about it.
What is the arc of this season for you?
That's a good question. The arc of this season is so different from last season. Last season I had, it was very cut and dry. I had to keep the secret, and all I wanted to do was tell it, because Judy is still things. And this season, although I have a secret, my biggest fear has been exposed to the person I feared it most exposed to, and still we have a relationship. So there's part of that even though Judy still has secrets, she now shares them with somebody that she cares very much about, which is comforting for her, because all she wants is a family, and that's what she finds with Jen and her family, and she doesn't want to lose that at any cost. And now it's almost as if Judy, in her mind, has an even stronger position because they share something that they can't tell anybody else. So sometimes I joke that Judy's a little bit like inviting a vampire in. Once you invite her in, she never leaves.
Could I just quickly ask you how you're managing coronavirus? Just a short sentence. I see your daughter's picture behind you.
I have that up there. She wrote that a bunch of flowers are beautiful because they're calming, happy, and peaceful. So I put that up there, and it gives me a little bit of peace. But I think it's a difficult time for the entire world. And I think there's a beauty in people coming together and caring for each other, but it's also a scary time. And And, I feel very grateful that I get to be home with my family, and my heart also just yearns for the people that I don't get to see. And it aches for the people who are struggling and who are sick. So I think it's really a time for the world to look at each other and try to come together while still staying apart.
So beautifully said. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank you. It's hard to know what to say because we're all sort of going through it at the time. So I hope you and your family are safe, and take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.